Oh my gosh. All right. Welcome to the show, Shoot the Shit. I'm Shayna McAndrews, and today I'm here with Sam, who is on my team. And Sam actually started as a client a couple years ago, and we were looking at different investment properties. And now Sam got her license, I guess, 2 years ago. Is that
Yeah,
right?
just about.
Yeah. Yeah. Your babies are grown up and they're doing their own
Yeah.
thing, and you're like, I gotta do something
Yes.
else. And you're so good with real estate. You understand so many things, and you're a fantastic agent with your clients. And I love helping you go through the process of like beginning and getting your career kind of off the floor running. And plus I love your clients too. You just have so many wonderful people that you're
Yeah.
surrounded by. So they're all lucky to have you. And I want to just kind of say like, you're amazing, Sam, and I'm glad that you're on my team and that we get to work together.
Well, I had the best teacher in you. Really, really, I did. I absolutely loved you. I loved you when I was your client. I love you as a mentor. You're just an
Is it
amazing
the
person. So
jokes? Is it like my really good jokes?
that's
You're
a
like,
part
no,
of
it's
it.
not that.
It's everything. You're just like well-rounded,
Oh,
and yeah,
thanks.
just you're just everything.
Oh, thanks,
In real
Sam.
estate. You
Virtual hug.
are.
um, well, today we're gonna, hopefully we have got some great listeners here to, maybe they're clients, maybe they're people that we know. We're gonna dive into some things about what's happening in the Philadelphia market right now, what
Okay.
first time buyers need to know, and whether it's a good time to buy, which is probably the biggest question I keep getting asked after
Yeah.
how's the market. So if you're a buyer wondering how to navigate this market, or maybe you're an agent wondering like how do I get up and running here, this is an episode for you. So Sam, let me start with kind of like a personal question here. If you had to buy a
Okay.
home in Philadelphia today, what neighborhood would you buy in? As like a
What
first-time home buyer, like let's say your budget's 250 or less. Like we're not talking $5 million
Yeah.
Chestnut Hill.
Exactly. First time home buyer, there's a couple of areas in Philadelphia that
Yeah.
I would personally move in, which would be the Germantown area has a lot of nice properties there. West Philly is another area that's up and coming, and you can get a really good renovated property for a good price.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think my list is going to be a little different. So
Mhm.
if I was like a first-time home buyer looking for a house between like 200 to 250, let's say, which is
Mhm.
very common for our first-time home buyers in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
And they have got great grant programs too for first-time home buyers.
yes,
We'll get into that a little bit. But I think I would say maybe West Oak Lane, number one.
yeah,
I love West Oak Lane. I've always loved West Oak Lane. And you have roots there too, I
yes, I
believe.
do.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go West Oak Lane all day.
West Oakland.
And then yeah, maybe Overbrook. And let's give a shout out to like Oxford Circle. I think
Yeah.
they're getting a little bit higher now, probably like closer to like 260, but still within that
Hmm.
area, that range. Be fair, they're probably around the same as Oxford Circle for around
Yeah,
260.
yeah.
And even let's say Yorktown. Yorktown, they've got that residential feel, mix of row houses and
Hmm.
green spaces, and it's so close to Temple University. So it
Yeah,
could be a good investment down the line to rent out to students.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that's going to be my list for first-time home buyers. Now, if you're like a first-time home buyer, but maybe you've got a little bit more savings
Mhm.
and you have maybe a couple more options there, ooh, what do you think?
Well, going back to my roots, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, but I would say still East Oak Lane, West Oak Lane area,
Yeah.
possibly even Roxborough. Sometimes you can find a
Yes.
special buy there. I love Roxborough. I think
Me
that's
too.
like, yeah, it's an amazing area. So,
Yeah, and you can get a really great home there for, between 354,
yeah.
which is another type of first time home buyer. We have a lot of buyers in that range. I think for my list of like, a little bit of a higher budget first time home buyer for Philadelphia, number one, I'm going Fishtown. Like,
Fishtown, that's a
yeah.
good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
it's got the trendy vibe, vibrant food scene.
Hmm.
Like, if I don't think I would do it now, but if I was younger, I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
Fish sounds cool. It's so close to Center City. You've got a variety of housing options there, so it's very, attractive to first-time home buyers. For me, like, it might is probably going to go Manayunk because I don't like hills. If you're a friend listening to this, like I left University of
Yeah.
Edinburgh to go do my master's in Florence based on the fact that Florence, Italy was a flat city. And like I just got so sick of hills. Edinburgh, what did you do? Why are you such a hill? But like Manayunk, it's the same thing. I'm sick of the hills, but like if you're down there
Yeah.
in like the main street, that's a cool place to be. You've got that suburban feel within its city limits. So I would say like if you're a home buyer seeking balance between urban amenities and neighborhood atmosphere, Manyunk's pretty good. Then I'm gonna go East Passyunk. You know, you've
That's
got
a
a
good
great
one.
culinary scene there. If you like to eat,
That's a good
that's
one.
for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It's a
I
lot
mean,
of things to do.
yeah,
A lot
and
of
it's got like
things.
the best restaurants and cafes there. And it's
That,
so
that's true.
walkable, strong sense of community there.
Mhm.
So I can see a lot of people who like want to plant roots. That's a good place to go. And then I'm going to go Roxborough, of course, because they've got the tree-lined streets. You've got a
Yeah.
variety of housing options like single-family homes, row homes, apartments, and it's so close to the Wissahickon Valley Park, which I love
Yeah.
Valley Green. Not just the inn, not just to have a glass of wine on that porch, but to like
Yeah.
walk and hike and
Yeah.
then have a glass of wine on their porch. And five, I'm going Mount Airy. Mount Airy's
Mount,
so good.
Mount
It's
Airy
so
is a good one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so diverse. You've got a great inclusive community. People there are so
Mhm.
nice, like in a
That's
Philly nice
true.
way.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that
Yes,
means.
that's true. Yes, we know what that means.
But
That's
you've
true.
got
And it
like,
has a lot of like antiquish type of,
yeah, it does.
things and
Mhm.
just neighborhood type of things you don't see just anywhere, like
Yeah.
little museums that are just specific to that area. Like it's really neat.
Some historic homes that you can tour
Yes. Yeah.
and they do have that whole historic homes section there, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I got to sell a couple homes under that jurisdiction. So I read through a lot of paperwork on the Historic Home Society. But yeah, they've got so many local shops, cool
Yeah.
restaurants, yeah, some great spots for like when you're a first time home buyer, like you want a really walkable place. Like, and I
Yeah.
think those like Fishtown, Manayunk, East Passyunk, Roxborough, Mount Airy, they've got that walkable neighborhood and they still have a
Yeah.
corner store.
Yeah.
Whereas
I
other places, you're
agree.
not going to find that as much. That's fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Philly market in general,
Philly market
what
in
do we think
general.
here? I think it's fascinating. So, first off,
Mm.
they ranked Philly as the fifth hottest housing market in 2025. That's jumping
Okay.
6 spots from last year. And
Wow.
why? Because it's affordable, it's
Yeah.
thriving, and it's packed with opportunity. Homes here,
Hmm.
they've jumped about 3.8% in value with an
Hmm.
average price of 216,000, and they're selling in
Hmm.
just 32 days. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, we're getting people from other states, from other areas, flocking back to Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like Manhattan, 90 minutes away, and their median home price is $1.1 million, whereas Philly is 256,000. Like, that's a serious bargain for city living.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
more space. I mean,
mhm. Yes,
you're talking about
yes.
1.7 million for 700 square feet versus,
700. I
two,
think New Yorkers are lucky to have
yes, I
700.
know it's crazy. Versus
Mhm.
215 and 1,200 square feet.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
or
Get
more.
even the 900
So
square foot row, like that's great. We
yeah,
love those.
yeah.
And, I think also the Philadelphia market right now, like if we're looking not because it's hard. We have so many neighbors. And as I always say, like when we're talking with our clients, we have micro neighborhoods. Like I
Mm.
can't tell
Yeah, we
you,
do.
I can tell you the general information for all of Philadelphia, but that's not going to help you. Like, where do you want to look?
Mm.
Where are you selling? Where are you buying? Like, let's look at
Yeah.
those neighborhoods and really get an idea of the analytics of the data and break it
Mm.
down. But I think in general, some of the great things that are happening here in Philadelphia, we just got a $30 million Chubb headquarters and a $4
Mm.
billion Bellwether District project. That's bringing in jobs, development, huge investment
Yeah.
potential, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I
And
mean, there's a lot going on in Philly
yeah.
in terms of, just infrastructure and
Mhm.
building and yeah,
Mhm.
so much going on. So, yeah, we have a lot of people flocking to us.
Yeah. And we've
That's it.
got the tax reform. If that goes through, Philly's business climate, it could be better than ever. So if you're
Yeah.
on the sidelines and you're like, the Philly market's been too hot, don't
Mhm.
like, don't sit on it. Just go,
Yeah.
just pull the
Yeah.
trigger because I mean, there's so many things driving business to our area, which is great. I mean, Philadelphia is a wonderful place to live.
It is.
It
Yeah.
really is. You've got everything here. And
Hmm.
we've got great diversity, which other cities
Absolutely.
cannot offer. So I think if you're thinking about investing, whether you're investing like to purchase a home, because even if you're going to live there, it's kind of an investment, right? This city's got momentum. It's affordable, growing, full of opportunity. Definitely don't sleep on Philly unless, of course, it's in the investment property you just bought. So like sleep in there. But definitely Philly, if you're a first time home buyer, second time home buyer, 20th time home buyer, great
Yeah,
market.
Philly's the
Get in
place.
there.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah,
BlackRock, get out. We don't
yeah.
want you here. We don't want those big investors. We want nice
No.
investors. So when you're out, you take on a lot of our buyers like in
Mhm.
Philadelphia. And when you're out and showing and like we're writing these offers and we're looking at the data and like, making sure our buyer's competitive, what are you seeing? Are you seeing concessions being made? Are you seeing, buyers and sellers having a big difference in what they think the value is? Um, what's some of your experience?
Well, it kind of varies, but I have to say overall, I feel like the sellers have been very easy to work with in terms of like most of them just want to sell the property. So they have been open to negotiations and, what we offer. We've been able to really make some good deals for our buyers. And I felt like both the buyer and the seller, came to the table happy, like, so I think that has been like a really good thing. And I've been lucky in that regard. I feel like the sellers have been like, yeah, we're and I don't and I don't know if we can attribute that to the agents. I would like to informing, their sellers that like, listen, this is a good, offer, or tweak it a little bit, but it's still a good offer. But I would say we've had some really good offers that we presented that was accepted. So we haven't had a lot of pushback from the sellers, which is good to
We've
me.
had some. We've had some.
We've had
And
some.
yeah, but like I would say one of the harder things that to
Mhm.
negotiate has been, okay, like let's say you're taking a client and you're seeing a flip. You're seeing a house that's been flipped.
Mm,
And sometimes it's a little lipstick on a pig kind of situation. And like we're like, come on, dude. Like you couldn't tighten the faucet for the tub. Like you
yeah,
couldn't caulk this the correct way. Like what were you thinking? You have none of
yeah,
the finishing touches. You're missing the transition between the kitchen and the dining room.
yeah.
Like, why did you put this on market? And I feel like you'll see some of those flips and you look at the photos, you're like, oh, this looks great. And your client's like, oh, this
Mhm.
looks great. But they're like, why is it sitting on market so long? You're like, yeah, well, because it
Well, this
probably
is
needs some
why.
finishing touches and like they're still working through their list.
Mhm.
And I think that that's one of the biggest problems that sellers, they keep making that mistake. Don't launch it before it's ready
Yeah.
because you just accumulate days on market. Buyers sometimes will go for it, but when our buyer wants to go for it, we're like, okay, but we need to give them like a laundry list because we're seeing all this
Mhm.
stuff before we even do
Mhm.
an inspection. Like it needs to be
Yeah.
done. I think the one that you're like, so there's no hot water, there's no
Yeah.
yeah, there's no like the faucet, everything is running really like trickling, like nothing's working the way it should work. And that's so frustrating. It's frustrating as an agent to be showing a buyer this and they're like, "Is this normal?" You're like, "No,
No, it's not normal.
it's
But
not
I
normal."
have to say, in those situations, the sellers have been like, okay, they haven't really given us,
Yeah.
pushback. And that part, I appreciate because it's like,
Mhm.
you should have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. But like,
So,
why didn't they just do it in the first place?
in
It
the first
frustrates
place,
me.
I know.
I was like,
I know.
"Come
Well, I
on, you
can
need
tell
one more
you,
week in this house for finishing
yeah.
touches."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think with sellers sometimes they're at the mercy of the contractors, and contractors have a bit of a bad rap, but
Yeah.
it's like if you wait for them, the house may not ever get on the
Yeah.
market. So sometimes I feel for them, and I think just having like understanding negotiation in the negotiation process is key too on both sides.
Yeah.
And if they're willing to get it done, especially before closing or in the time frame that we specify, I
Mhm.
think all parties are happy. Mm.
Yeah, and I think like the one asking them to do those prior to even having our inspection period, because like
Yeah,
it needs to be done. Like we want you need a new roof on this, like you said, and we had the one
yeah,
house. They said in the seller disclosure, they're like, "Yeah, we have a new roof on this house," and then you're talking to the agent's like, "He'll put a new roof on if it's a good offer." And we're like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, did you read the seller disclosure?"
no, that's a mess. But it
Yeah.
happens,
It does
so
happen. So
yeah,
it's a little, yeah, it's a little different. And you see that less and less in like the suburbs because I think there's just and in different price points too. Because
yeah,
sometimes like a lot of that happens around like 300 and under. I think we're seeing those kind of
mhm,
flips happen where they
mhm,
could have just taken another week or two to just wait, but they just go so
yeah,
quick. They're like, we gotta get on market.
yeah,
Like it's not gonna help you. Um,
yeah.
yeah. But let's kind of, like what do you think about first-time home buyers and their experience right now? It's an interesting market. We're still, I think we've had so many buyers on the sideline for a couple months, years. Some
Yeah.
buyers will always be on the sideline. They're like, it's never a good market. I'm like, if you
Ah,
bought when we first talked, you would have $100,000 in equity. Like
yeah.
just by
How about that?
appreciation. Yeah, right. How about that? How about that? You could have paid for your kids' college education.
Absolutely.
Half of it, I don't know. It's expensive. Community college with 100 grand. So, but yeah, like for first time home buyers, what's a little bit about their experience, their frustrations that they're going through right now?
Well, I think it really depends on the client. Some of the clients I feel have done their research prior to, which is a little bit helpful that they have some understanding of the process. I think for those who don't, they're just kind of misinformed sometimes. Some of them are really fearful of the interest rates.
Mm.
Or even what they qualify for. Like a lot of people just have this assumption that, oh, I don't qualify for anything. I'm like,
Yeah,
do
didn't
you
you have
want
a
to buy?
client like that last year? And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they went
quite a
through it and
few.
they're like, no, you qualify. Like
Yeah.
it's like a
Yeah,
almost an imaginary concern.
yeah,
And that's really hard.
it is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't really know where it comes from, but I do know that a lot of people have expressed to me that they want to buy, but they just don't think they can. And they just have misinformation. Like, a lot of people feel like you have to have like a 700 credit score. And I'm like, no, let's talk to a lender. Let's see where you are. You most likely qualify for something. And they have all been like, surprised that, oh, I qualify for 300,000 or I qualify for
Yeah.
400,000. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it.
And then we have
So,
ones like kind of along the same thread there. Like we have clients
mhm.
who will say, "Oh, like my credit score is so low," and they'll be like, "It's
Yeah.
600," and I'm like, you qualify. Like you qualify at 600,"
Yeah,
and they're like, "But I won't get a good rate." But if they qualify like FHA right now, I'm seeing
yeah,
6.25. Like
yeah,
I'm seeing some more favorable rates than conventional. So,
yeah,
and that's something like if we have a client who's qualified FHA and conventional, if it's a competing offer, let's go that route because you're gonna have a better chance. But
mhm,
FHA, if it's the better rate and there's no competition, like that's a fantastic way to grow. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it really, really helps. But I would say, yeah, like a lot of first-time home buyers, they are fearful, as you said, like,
yeah.
and you don't know what you don't know. And the first step is talking to us and then talking to a lender. So, and we
Yes.
have great local reputable lenders that we recommend that we've had
Mhm,
buyers have great experiences with, or
mm,
we personally have worked with. They're not
yeah,
just, some Tom, Dick, and Harry like that we pull out of a hat. Like these are people that have done amazing work.
mhm,
But I would say just jump in, start talk, give Sam a call, give myself a
yeah.
call.
Yeah, give us a call, ask questions. I think people are sometimes just afraid, like, that I don't want to ask a stupid question. Well, you won't know until you ask. And there is no stupid question. Some people think they know where they want to live and they don't. And I have people asking me like, well, what neighborhoods do you suggest? And I'm like, well, what do
What are
you
you
need?
looking
What are
for?
you looking for? 'Cause I
Yeah.
have a client
What's
who's like,
important
I
to you?
want, yeah, I want a garage. Okay, so there's certain areas that you might
Yeah.
not,
And what's your
or
budget? Let's figure this
what's
out
your
together.
budget with the garage, or some people I don't want neighbors. Okay, what's your budget? So it's like you have to know. I always tell my clients it's important to know their negotiables and their non-negotiables because once you start looking, you don't want to waste time looking and Shayna, in areas or at homes that they're just not going to like or
Yeah.
so it's like let's get
Yeah.
this information up front. Ask your questions. Let's talk it
You know,
out.
that kind of reminds me, like one of the things that I've heard from other people, they're like, "Oh, agents, they just want money, they just want money, and like they don't care what they sell to you, they just want their check." Never felt that way, except when a buyer's had me on the end, and I'm like, "Why? Why is this the hardest deal ever?" And I'm like, "I'm not making money." It's always a deal that you don't make anything, but It's never about that because I mean, all my clients, they probably see it like, I'll say in their search portal, I'm like, are you sure about that house? It doesn't have XYZ. We talked,
Mhm.
you said when we did the last showing, you don't like a split level. You don't like the
Mhm.
kitchen out like you don't like the kitchen layout like that, and you don't have money to do a new kitchen. So, or you need two full bathrooms and you don't have the money to do that renovation. Like those are the things that we bring up and people will be like, why wasn't this house in my search? I was like, because it doesn't fit your
Okay.
criteria. Why would I show it? Like, why would I deleted it from your search because
Yep.
it doesn't
Yep.
fit. I'm like, this house isn't even mortgageable. It's in disrepair.
Yeah.
It needs a cash buyer. This is not for you. But people get
Yeah.
so sensitized. I'm like, nope, I'm following my fiduciary duties to you.
Yeah, that's right. I just had that experience yesterday. I have a client who there has to be a full bathroom in the basement. Has to be. And he found a property and he said, I want to see this one. And I said, okay, but I saw that property and I know it doesn't have a bathroom in the basement. Do you still want to see it? He said, no. So as I said, you have to know. You have to know. Because sometimes, like again, that could be a negotiable thing for him, but he's like, no, I really want one that is finished and has a full bathroom in the basement. So,
Yes.
it kind of saved time going there. He was like, nope, I don't want to see it. And it's a nice property, but it doesn't have the full bath.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to know, you have to keep your clients
Yes,
because
it
it's
is.
they can get emotional and they kind of
Mhm.
forget like their logic. And that's, if you've ever bought a car, if you've ever bought something, a laptop, and you're like, oh, I just went because it had like, the best, I can't think of one thing about a car or a laptop. It had all-wheel drive. I don't even know if that's good.
Yeah.
I'm so bad with cars. Please, no one asked me to help them buy a car. And so well, like if it and you go to the car lot and you're like the car lot. You go to the dealership and like they don't have an all-wheel drive car. You're like, that was your one criteria. Maybe
Yeah.
you're in the wrong place. Like, and it's the same thing with our buyers. Like, you want a house, you don't want neighbors, you don't want touching neighbors, you don't want shared walls, all that. You're sick of it. We get it. We've all been there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like, let's not look at that townhome. Let's not look at that row house or,
Yeah.
the twin.
Yeah.
So part of our job is to keep people on track.
Yeah, and that also applies to the monthly payment because
Mm,
you can qualify for one thing or be approved for one thing, and you may say, "Well, I only want to spend this amount, 2,000 a month." Well,
mhm.
then that means you may have to look at the lower end of your approval than
Your
the
budget.
higher end. Yeah, so that's also something that we need to know,
Yeah.
in terms of,
And we
"Oop, I
work with
lost
the
the
lender
airplane."
because I think like
Yeah.
sometimes the lender just they'll say like pre-approval 300,000. Our recommended lenders, they know my next question and it's
Mm.
okay, they're approved for 300,000. What's the
What's the
monthly?
monthly? Yeah.
What's the monthly? And because they're approved for 2,500 a month. They're approved for
Mhm.
whatever it is. Because taxes change,
Mhm.
the insurance can change, like our
Yeah.
estimates on that. Like, maybe the house is in a flood zone. We need flood insurance on top of it. Will this fit in the
Mhm.
budget? So
Yeah.
there's so many things, and like that's why it's kind of a team to buy a house. And that's what's great about having a team to buy a house
Yes, it is.
because you get to bounce things off. Like, we go through, we talk about clients and kind of figure out like what's going to work for that person. Have you tried this? Have you looked at this kind of neighborhood or these types of houses that could work for that client? But yeah, sticking to the monthly budget, super, super important. And the other question I asked, like, you want to be around, let's say, $2,000 a month, but this house is $2,200 a month. You do qualify for that, but this
Mhm.
house has everything new in it. Is that
Yeah.
$200 a month worth it to you? You have a new roof, you have new systems,
Mhm.
like new floor, like everything
Yeah.
is new windows. Does that
Yeah.
make a difference? And the answer a lot of times is yes. Like, you
Yeah.
know what? Lower maintenance for more time does make that huge difference. And I'm okay to take on that extra payment.
Yeah. Yeah. We just, don't drink as much coffee in a month or, eat out as much and you can
Yeah.
cover the
Take a
200.
part-time
Yeah.
job, save a
Yeah.
little extra money, see
Yeah.
what you can do. Maybe you can, help people do something like move
Mhm.
things, whatever, dig
Yeah.
gardens, whatever it is. Get some freelance work out there to
Mhm.
build up your savings or to not dig into them so much.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's play a little thing that I like to call fact or crap. So, Sam, here we go. I'm going to ask you five different things, and you're gonna let me know
Uh-oh.
fact or
Uh-oh.
crap. You got this. I believe
I'm
in you.
nervous.
You're nervous. Okay. A house once sold in Philly for just $1. Is it fact or crap? It's fact. Philly has
Oh, I
had
remember the dollar
$1 home
homes.
progress. Yes. Yes. I was wondering if you would. All right.
I
Number
wish they
two.
would bring it
Yeah.
back.
But now everyone's getting a Euro house in Italy.
I know. How about that? Yeah.
All right, number two. There's a law that says you must disclose if a home is haunted before selling it in Pennsylvania.
That is false.
That is crap, correct.
That's
Pennsylvania
crap.
doesn't require it, but there's a couple states that do. Most do not
Oh,
require
yeah.
it. Number three. The Comcast Center was built on land originally meant to be a housing development. Yeah, the Comcast Center.
Could be fact or crap, but I'm gonna say crap.
It is crap.
Okay.
It was
It's got
always,
okay.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
always commercial land.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah, that area, that section. Number four, Philadelphia has more row homes than any other city in the United States.
I believe that's a fact.
It is a fact. You're doing great. You're 4 for 4 right now. Philly is the row home capital. All right, number five for the win. 5 out of 5. Can she do it? A Philly developer once tried to turn an abandoned prison into luxury condos.
That is a fact.
It is a fact.
I remember that. I remember
Yes,
that. Not too-
yes. It wasn't too long ago.
yeah.
There were plans for Eastern State Penitentiary
Yeah.
before it became a historic site.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and now we just get to see it at Halloween time. I think you can go other times too, but that's when everyone goes.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, I'm gonna
Fun
ask you a couple
fact.
questions
Okay.
for our Philly local vibes. Where is your favorite cheesesteak?
And Philly Paganos.
Okay.
Pagante.
Okay. Yeah, they have the best cheesesteak. All right.
They have the best. I
And
promise you.
you promise. Best pizza.
Okay, so it's not in Philly though. It's in Abington. Is
That's
that
fine.
okay?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Papa P.
Yeah.
I love Papa P's.
Oh my God. Not Mr. Peas, Papa Peas?
Mr. P's. Mr. P's. Yeah,
I
I'm
was like,
sorry.
who's Papa Peas? Like, I know all of Abby. Yeah, they have one in Flowertown too. Yeah. Yeah, and I know a couple people who love Mr. P's
I
pizza.
love
It's
Mr.
not my
P's.
favorite, but I do get it. I do see the appeal for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite brewery or bar?
So I don't drink at
I know,
all.
but you do go out.
I do go out, and I don't know.
Where has like good music?
Oh, good music. So I love Jules
Yeah,
in
Jules.
Chestnut
Where's Jules?
Hill. Yeah.
In Chestnut
It's
Hill.
in Chestnut
Yeah.
Hill. Yes. Yep.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. And then,
I love Jules.
yeah, I haven't been. I'll have to go with you next time.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
restaurant, bar, has live music.
oh,
Have
nice.
Wednesday nights karaoke. They have the best karaoke. So
You would know.
yes.
Sam can sing. All right. So then what's like a local business that you would like to give a shout out to? Maybe it's someone that you know, like in HVAC, plumbing, like someone that you know, like to give a little shout out to for their business.
Well, so I have a business, an HVAC business. I'll shout that out. But also Jules, they gave me a wonderful birthday party last week, and they were just amazing. So I would like to shout them out. So Keith and everyone at Jules, you guys are amazing.
Yes. And then for HVAC?
HVAC, yes. That would be Thompson and Sons HVAC.
Yes, definitely use them. For local business, I'm gonna go with one that I went to recently, and I'm gonna say Harp and Crown. I think they had great service. It was my first time there. They had yummy food. I loved their like fig jam ricotta toast. I'm such a sucker for a toast. And then they had a great ambiance for a date night. It was really nice. So Harp and Crown.
Nice. Harp and
Yeah.
Crown.
All right,
Check it
Sam.
out.
So yeah, a little pricey, but date night didn't pay.
Yeah. Good food. That's all that
Um,
matters to me. Good food.
good food. Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Final advice for buyers trying to get into the Philly market. Where should they start?
Well, they should start with the Shayna McAndrews team. Yes, they should.
We're here for that.
We are here for that. But I think they should. My advice to most of my clients is just take a deep breath. It's okay because a lot of people get overwhelmed with it. We're here to help you. So, no need to fret. But just start the process.
Yeah.
Once you start, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree with that, definitely. And we make it easy for you. Like go through these steps. We'll
Yes.
get there. We'll do it together.
Yeah.
Um, And, Sam, how can anyone connect with you? What are some of your socials that you like to use?
So you can reach me on Instagram at Samiyyah, Samiyyah underscore S, and on Facebook, Samiyyah Staten.
Hmm. Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for attending and listening to us. And Sam, thank you so much for being on this.
Thank
You're
you,
a
Shayna.
wonderful person, and I'm so grateful to have you on the team. And
Thank you.
you make work fun, and you have like the best clients. It's so true. I love
Thank
that I get to
you.
kind of meet them proxies through you.
They love you too.
But yeah, everyone, thanks for joining us. Reach out if you ever have any questions about buying a home in Philly, and comment with your favorite pizza place.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.